We will always be a leader in teaching and learning, a leader in the accumulation of wisdom, knowledge and understanding. In other words, an ideal community of scholars. Ladies and gentlemen, my academic and professional colleagues, and most importantly our graduands here today, I offer you the warmest of welcomes to the University on this occasion. And in just a few moments it will be my very great honour to confer upon our graduands the degrees that you have earned and welcome you as lifelong members of that community of scholars we proudly call Macquarie University. It is now my great pleasure, in keeping with graduation traditions, to introduce our occasional speaker, Mr. Alistair Nicholas. Alistair Nicholas is the Chief Executive Officer, very recently appointed in fact, of the Cornerstone Group Australia, a government, corporate and public affairs consultancy firm, a friend to this university. Alistair's career straddles politics, government relations, economic policy, diplomacy, journalism, business, corporate affairs, and issues in crisis management across Australia, the United States, and in China. Highlights of his career include being International Trade Policy Advisor to the Federal Coalition, Australian Trade Commissioner to the World Bank and United Nations, running his own business in China for many years, working in government affairs in China for 13 years, and advising some of the world's leading companies on corporate and government affairs in numerous markets around the world. Mr. Nicholas also sits on the board of the NGO Welcome to My Yard, which works with homeless youths in Nepal. I now invite Mr. Alistair Nicholas to deliver the occasional address. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Nicholas.
Vice-Chancellor Professor Dowden, members of the faculty, 2018 graduands, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure to address you today on this auspicious occasion. Let me first congratulate all of you. The fact that you are here today, waiting for your degrees to be conferred, is testament to your hard work, your commitment, and your perseverance. It is also testament to the hard work, commitment, and perseverance of your parents and families. As a father who has one daughter who has graduated and one still at university, I can certainly attest to the hard work of the parents. So congratulations to all of you. For the graduands in whose honour we are here today, whether this is your first degree or a second degree or a third degree, it marks the first day of a new chapter in all of your lives. Thank you for allowing me to share in it today with you. 2 weeks ago, I was at home recovering from surgery to remove my appendix, and I was thinking about what I would possibly have to say to you all today. Some of this speech may have been affected by the drugs that was so powerful Coleridge would be envious. That's my disclaimer. In my days, I tried to peer back through the haze of time to my own graduation, nearly 35 years ago, and recall what the speaker had to say to inspire my fellow classmates and me at that time. I recall the speaker was an academic, a professor of sociology, who referenced great thinkers in his speech: Plato, Marcus Aurelius, Bertrand Russell, Herbert Marcuse, Noam Chomsky, and himself, of course. What exactly he said and what it was supposed to mean to us, the graduating class of 1984, I can't recall. I doubt most of my classmates recalled his speech a week later. And for most of us who had been celebrating that evening, I doubt we could recall it the next morning. I promise not to make the same mistake. There will be no further mention of great thinkers today or of highfalutin ideas from me. In short, I will try to keep this real, and I will try to keep it short. I am very much aware of the fact that I stand between you and time with your friends and families, photos and selfies, and the celebrations you'd like to soon start and perhaps never see end. But end they will. A new day will come, the first day of the rest of your life. You will likely find yourself in a cafe sipping coffee, maybe with a sore head tomorrow morning, or sitting by a beach and thinking about your future, about what you should do now. Your resume needs to be updated, you've got a new degree to add to it, and there are all those job applications you probably need to start writing. But it's not as daunting as it sounds. Tempting as it is to bore you with my life's experiences, and I think Professor Doughton has already done a little bit of that, I'm going to avoid it. Instead, I'd like to talk to you about you and the opportunities before you. You will succeed in life. You have already shown that you are made of the right stuff, that you have the work ethic, the commitment, and the drive to succeed. So I'm not going to talk about those. What I want to talk about is the fortune that awaits you, that you will come into, and what you should do with it. You might be surprised to hear this, but few people leave university with their careers mapped out. Even 5 years down the track, you will probably not have the grand scheme in place. In fact, speaking from my own experience, fortune often plays a bigger part in the road you take. Call it luck, or call it providence. Whatever you call it, you will find the gods smiling upon you from time to time. And it is what you choose to do at those times that will count. I said I wasn't going to mention any great thinkers, but I have to mention one great American philosopher at this juncture, Yogi Berra. Not Yogi Bear, Yogi Berra. You have probably never heard of him. Yogi Berra was a baseball catcher with the New York Yankees who went on to become a coach and a manager of the team. He had an 8th grade education and was well known for his quirky quotes, which often mixed up facts or words or were contradictory or paradoxical, usually unintentionally so. One of my favorite quotes by him is, "When you come to a fork in the road, take it." Indeed, take it. Fortune favors the bold. You may have heard that before. As I'm not referencing great thinkers apart from Yogi Berra, you will have to Google who said that. I've certainly tried to take the forks in the road when I have come to them, so long as they looked promising and so long as they would keep me on an upward trajectory in my career. Sometimes they required considerable boldness. Read risk-taking. For example, when I started my own consultancy business in China, working from a cafe and living on my savings, and despite having 3 very young children, quite a big risk, but it was a risk that paid off. Fortune favors the bold. Fortune will favor you if you take the right forks in the road. That's about you. But there's something greater than you that you need to give thought to as you make your way through life. Some great thinker, and again, I'm not going to say who, you can Google it, said, "No man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of a continent, a part of the main." And there is a great deal of truth in this. We are social beings. You will be out celebrating later, and I'm willing to bet that very few of you will be choosing to celebrate alone tonight. But being social beings is about more than Facebook and selfies and beer pong on Friday nights. I'd encourage you to think about the larger world and the opportunity that fortune and forks in the road will give you to make a difference in it. Think about it. With your education, with your career before you, with the affluence and the influence you will have, the difference you will be able to make to this world. Each of you can change this world. Each of you can make a real difference. Even if that difference is only to change the lives of 10 people, the change will be phenomenal. Because each of those 10 people might change the lives of 10 more people, and so on and so forth. I'm sure that many of you in this room are better equipped than I am to do the maths on that. I was just a Pol Sci graduate with very poor numerical skills. But if you can think about that, think about the number of lives that could be transformed in your lifetime. How can you make a change? By donating, but I don't mean money. Anyone can give money, and money is necessary. When you make your fortune, I hope that you will contribute some of it to causes that improve the quality of life of those in need. But I'm talking about giving your time and your expertise. Volunteer for a charity or a cause you believe in, or a political party, or an organization that is trying to do some good in the world. I'm not going to preach my politics or my religion, nor promote the charities and organizations that I contribute to. My point is that if each of you is committed to something, if you believe in something, roll up your sleeves and make a contribution. Don't look at a problem and say someone should fix that. Ask yourself, what can you do to help fix that? Fortune has already smiled on you. You are now part of the elite. You are part of the privileged. You're probably sitting there thinking, no, I'm not, I'm just a guy, or I'm just a girl. But think about it. Only 6.7% of people in the world have a university or college education. 6.7%. You are in the top tier. You have arrived today. You are at the top of the world. You are a leader, and you can make a difference. And there's no end of causes you can get involved in to make the world a better place. Because if it's not going to be you, who is it going to be? The homeless guy sleeping in the tunnel at St. James Station overnight in Sydney? Or the orphan begging on the streets of Kathmandu? We can't say the buck stops with them. Who's going to have a bigger individual impact? They or you? If your answer is you, you have no excuse for inaction. Join a cause or get some of your friends together to start a cause to fix a problem no one else is fixing. The final thing I'd like to say to you is to stay grounded. Amongst you here today are people who will make it to the very top. Some of you will become CEOs. Some of you will become politicians and leaders in society. There may even be a future Prime Minister amongst you. Perhaps one of you might become a billionaire. Maybe one of you will be the face behind the next big thing, the next Amazon, or the cryptocurrency that defines post-fiat money. Don't be surprised, but whatever you do, stay grounded. Remember, you are not an island entire of yourself. Remembering you have a social responsibility and working to help less fortunate people will help you to stay grounded. So too will keeping the right friends around you. Make sure that no matter how high you go, no matter how high into the social and economic stratosphere of life you fly, your friends and family are never too afraid to speak truth to power to you. Too many high flyers crash back to earth like Icarus, not because they did not listen, but because those closest to them were too afraid to tell them the truth. As high as you fly, stay grounded, stay approachable. Keep it real. You will come to many forks in the road. Be bold. Take risks. Fortune will favor you. When it does, remember where you came from and the opportunity fortune is giving you to make a difference. I'm afraid that I've kept you too long from Instagramming and Snapchatting this event and the celebrations to come. I wish you all great success in your careers and in making your marks on the world. Thank you again for letting me share this happiest of days with you. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Nicholas on a wonderful graduation address to us, occasional address in the finest tradition that they are offered. And for our graduands, and indeed for all of us, some wise words of advice there. And I think the thing that struck me most about Mr. Nicholas's address was thinking about things for ourselves and thinking about things for what we can do for others in the wider world, and that most important notion of staying grounded as graduands, and for the rest of us, helping these wonderful folks stay grounded and stay true to the idealism that has brought them to this moment in their lives today. I think Mr. Nicholas deserves another great round of applause. Thank you again. Now, as Vice-Chancellor of Macquarie University, I especially look